Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Trust Vibes Artist Series. Today, I have with me my good buddy, Ben Chan. Ben, how you doing?
What's up,
Ben,
baby?
cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'm really excited to have you on.
Oh, I am so honored to be here.
Ben is a man of many abilities. You work for Microsoft.
I do client engagements for Experience Center Asia.
By day.
By day.
By night, Hollywood film producer.
Go figure. Lionsgate, Sony,
Yeah.
Red Compass Media, Black Jelly Beans. Wow. So 4 films.
I like how you say what you do, and then you go, wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to start doing that. So I'm I'm a TV host, actor, award-winning. Wow.
Yes.
We're going to start off with a lightning round. First thing you do in the morning after you wake up.
Brush my teeth, wash up.
You wake up, and before you even look at your phone,
Before I even look at the phone.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I know.
Brush your teeth and then what? Shower.
I'm more a night shower type of person.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. Hey, not everybody showers in the morning. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, look here.
If you didn't live in Singapore, where would you live?
One of my top 2 favorite cities, San Diego.
Okay.
Or Hong Kong.
Both great cities. Hong Kong's got a different energy these days, though.
I hear.
We'll say. Last lightning round question. As a Hollywood producer, what is your favorite movie of all time?
I'm going to say the Back to the Future series. And part of that is really more the story elements of that. Fun, lighthearted, just engaging. Doc Brown, Marty McFly, and how you go from just a story that is interwoven all between 1, 2, as well as 3.
Yeah.
Going back to the old school Western.
We're done. We're done lightning round now. Let's move on to the heat of the meat, as I keep calling it for no reason at all. You work for Microsoft. You're doing customer relations.
Client engagements. Yes.
But I obviously know what you do for a living.
We connect clients with our executives, leadership, our experts. So every single client that we have, we would work with them as partners. We'd uncover new opportunities to help them improve themselves.
Obviously, you have this incredibly important position at Microsoft, which keeps you rather busy. And you also produce films. Good films.
Oh, yeah.
Were you always interested in film production or filmmaking, or did they just come out of nowhere?
Oh, well, I want to say it was happenstance. And I was connected through some mutual friends to my now business partner, night job business partner, Brian Metcalf. So Brian, during that time, he was chief creative officer, visual effects for a company that specializes with visual effects, post effects, as well as both DVD and was Blu-ray. They do front and back cover art. So during that time, Brian goes, I want to do my own thing. I want to be a director, producer, actor. I want to create my own content. He showed me his reel, his sizzle reel.
Yeah.
And Brian, there goes Brian working on, I go, Brian, work on your first project and let me know how that goes. So a few years later, Brian's finished with his first individual project, Dreamless, invited me to the movie launch. The quality was like, wow, you're doing high-end visual effects. Great story, great compelling storyline. And I go, wow, Brian, this is really good. I'd like to participate on your next project. So sure enough, that happened to be Fading of the Christ. So we went theatrical 2011, a few select theaters, including Man's Chinese, or now TCL Chinese. And we happened to also be picked up for distribution by Lionsgate. So during that time, we set up our company, Red Compass Media. And Lionsgate gave us some real good street cred as an indie production company. That also set us up for a few other projects.
Right.
So from 2011, then we started working on
the vampire film.
The Lost Tree before Vampire.
Oh,
before Living Among Us.
Yeah.
So we went 4 films from from Fading. So 4 films, Fading, Lost Tree, all theatrical and all fully distributed.
That's pretty impressive for somebody that really did not have any...
Our skills are completely different.
He's obviously the creative guy.
Yes, he's completely in tune with the industry. And we also have one of our business partner, Tom Nicholas, Ian Nicholas from American Pie. Rookie of the Year. So I would always say that Tom always brings in the actors and actresses.
And what are you doing mostly?
My role functionally is, so my title is president, but functionally it's EP, executive producer. It's really funding the projects or sourcing funds for our film project.
You're the money producer, the money guy. Yes. And have you found that has been a struggle for you, or has it been easy because of who you're working with?
There's always a challenge to that, which is you ask any friends, family, or would you like to invest in a movie?
Right.
It's going to be ultra risky.
I'm asking for a friend.
Yes.
How do you ask for money for films? Let's say, for example, my friend has a movie.
Sure.
And they need money to make the movie. What should they do? What are the steps that they should go down to try and make sure that they can secure enough funds for that film?
That is such a wide open question.
I'm a wide open kind of guy. I'm not sure what that means. Because I think if you're inexperienced in it, that's the exact question that you would ask. You wouldn't know enough to ask another question. So maybe the question is, what other questions should that person be asking to try and find money for a film?
I think in terms of even asking for funds, it's really what your story is. It's really crafting out that story. In addition to, you're going to be asking somebody for X. I want to produce this movie, and we're looking at launching this movie over the next 2 years. And here's your duration. These are the actors and actresses of what we want. Because one of those biggest challenges is actually, it's always the follow through. Always the follow through. What can we do? Because everyone's going to be, I want to be an actor. I want to be an actress.
What do you mean by follow through? I want to create.
Follow through meaning what you say and what you do.
From your end. Yes. As in you say, I can do this if you give me this. So it's about you being able to back it up.
Yes. So even with our very first project, Fading, I was an associate producer with that. So it was actually Brian who actually sourced most of the funding for Fading. And we, as a team, we completed that back in 2011. But now with our second film, The Lost Tree, I was largely responsible for funding. So it's going to that question. We just going to asking people, the friends, largely, friends, family. I'm developing a new movie, and it's going to be called Lost Tree, and we're looking at launching it within this period of time, and we're largely going to be working with these actors and actresses. They have already cited interest. I've already put X dollars down into the project, and I'd like your help to see if you'd like to participate as an investor.
What are the hurdles with developing that kind of credibility to getting that money? Is that the reason you're asking people you know to start out with?
Yes.
So when you're just starting out, you're not getting money from strangers.
Oh no.
No, don't even try.
Well, it's not like not even trying. It's going to figure out what our entire film budget is for each of these projects, because we had Lost Tree and then subsequently with Living Among Us as well as Adverse.
Yes, you talked about your current film. Now, I imagine getting the funding for Adverse was a totally different story than the previous 3.
Oh, sure.
Just because I think y'all's street cred had been developed. And in this film, you've got Mickey Rourke, Sean Astin,
Penelope Ann Miller.
Yes. Can't remember his name.
Lou Diamond Phillips.
Yeah.
So 2 Academy Award nominees with both Mickey Rourke and Sean Astin, 2 Golden Globe nominees. And and we came out of Living Among Us, which Sony helped us do distribution and lots of awards along the way. And also one of the cool things was it's one of the top 50 Halloween movies. Interestingly enough.
It's a good film. I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's a fun remake, our version of vampires.
It's definitely R.
Oh, and it's a fun R.
Were you able to get Mickey Rourke and Sean Astin and those guys involved before you had money already kind of in the bank, or did the money come first?
Oh, money definitely came first.
Right.
And we were actually looking at different actors.
Yeah.
So we had our short list of very good actors, and especially Mickey. So we were like, okay, we really want Mickey Rourke. How do we make this happen? That was some of the additional funds that we had to go and secure. And we did that. So, but it's still a journey. And what we've been doing is raising funds project by project. So what we want to get to is raising funds for a slate or multi-asset.
What do you mean by a slate?
Multi-asset films. So maybe perhaps a few. We're looking at maybe doing 3. And we are looking at pivoting to even TV pilots.
Essentially, you're building a film fund.
Yes.
For several projects.
For several projects.
Because people now trust you guys. They're like, here's the money. Do whatever you want.
Easier said than done, clearly.
I would imagine.
We're still in that phase right now. But we do have at least a history. So pretty good history. Great, excellent PR. Thank you, Rogers and Cowan.
I don't think people realize how much money goes into PR of films, PR and marketing. How much of the budget for an entire film,
30%.
percentage-wise? 30%.
Oh, yes.
At least.
Oh, yes. More the merrier.
I mean, you could dictate the popularity of films based on the marketing budget.
Oh, yes.
A lot of the time, right?
Unless it's something really compelling, new, and you've got plenty of social. And so it is almost to a certain degree some type of science around it. But the science is for film, for even TV, it also varies because there's still an element of science to it.
There's definitely a timing element to knowing how to market.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Like, I think one of the biggest films that nailed that was probably Crazy Rich Asians.
Yes.
Like, somebody in the room nailed exactly how to market that and when, and killed it.
So Crazy Rich Asians, wildly successful, where I think one of the streaming platforms wanted to pick them up, but they said, you know what? No, we're going to go and distribute this ourselves.
Netflix wanted it. Netflix wanted it. Yeah.
And then Warner goes, okay, Warner came in and broadly distributed this theatrically. And look at largely the Asian community coming en masse and setting up a great story for Singapore and Malaysia.
How long does it take from, say, Brian saying, I got this script, let's make this film, till the movie being released?
Well, incidentally, these are...
He emailed you today with a new script.
We chat weekly, so these are actually one of our next projects after Adverse. And the concept is we have 10 or 15 internally developed scripts. Obviously, we do receive others that are coming in, but largely we work on our core internal projects. And from that, we kind of go on a virtual whiteboard.
Okay.
With Tom, with Brian, we go, okay, let's see, how much do you think we can do a project for this particular budget?
Budget in mind first?
It's always a budget.
You don't have a script, like, we have to make this script, and then putting a budget around that. What you're saying is you have a budget of money, you're like, which one of these films can we fit in here?
We always have sort of like an approximate budget in mind. But there's always going to be scripts that will kind of fit that. And we already have these internally developed scripts.
Or
so
you can,
largely Brian's ideas.
right. I guess you can also adapt the scripts.
We certainly can, and we have. So for some of these projects, because if you figure that if we're going to embark on a project or a film, we're going to be spending 2 to 3 years principal photography and post, depending on the elements of post-production. Like our first earlier films are largely visual effects intensive, like Lost Tree, Living Among Us, and Fading.
So you have to be confident that it's going to work.
Yes.
Quick sidebar question.
Yeah.
Did you get to meet Mickey Rourke?
Sadly, no.
That is very disappointing.
It is very disappointing because me, I would be the ones going, hey, Mickey, let's go for a selfie or even a team photo. I couldn't because I was in San Francisco.
You weren't in town when they were shooting?
I was not. And normally I would be in any of our principal photographies, or I would make time to do it.
What kind of movies are the easiest to get made right now currently, you think? Just as far as getting money for them. Is there a particular genre or a particular style of film that's easiest to get money for?
I would think that movies could vary based on budgets, and especially for independent film producers. So it also depends on the level of post-production, your marketing budget, which is really key, in addition to your talent, the actors and actresses that you would get, and how you want to market it. Where's the market base for it? For example, is it going to be worldwide? Most of our films, we really want to target a worldwide market.
Right.
So hence our teams over in LA.
That's where they're making the big movies.
A lot of our mutual friends as well, when they're doing projects over here, it's largely either tailored to a local Singapore market or a Southeast Asia market. So different marketing, different target audiences. Budgets vary. Blair Witch did an extremely low budget. I'm thinking Paranormal 1, that was extremely low, 5 figures?
Horror flicks seem to have the best turnaround as far as effort to cash ratio, right?
They do. And possibly, I think that's one of the reasons why we kind of embarked on both Fading as well as Lost Tree, elements of horror, in addition to somewhat of Living Among Us as well.
Did you ever have a... sorry,
go
ahead.
No,
go ahead. I'm sure it was profound. Go on.
Well, I'm not sure about profound.
Well, you're on the spot now.
So it's... When we're looking at this, it's really looking at the market, how we want to really do our next, whether it's film or TV, and it's largely leaning towards TV, it's really the quality of actors, actresses.
The money's in drama series.
The credibility.
Is it just too easy to make a movie now?
I'm going to elaborate.
Ouch, that hurts.
I would... It's not easy to make a movie because...
It's not.
Your experience with just creating these creative projects, it's an undertaking. It's a complete undertaking and it's really hard work. So going back into some of these, why drama or versus horror, when we did Adverse, it was a complete change in terms of what thematically what we were known for. So doing a crime drama like Adverse, now we're being Rotten Tomatoes fresh, New York Times best crime action movie to be streamed. So we were in the New York Times back in May, and lots of great press. So we really want to be in this because we want to be both credible and really have that street cred. Because we're serious about both. I'm serious about my day job. I'm also serious about my night job.
Yeah, which leads me to my next question. How the hell do you have so much time? Do you schedule out your days just insanely to be able to fit all this in? Or are you just an alien?
Maybe more in the latter. Mm-hmm. So it's really when we're doing these our film production. So when we're actually doing, whether it's pre-production, principal photography, those are really more principal photography leading up into that. that takes up a lot of time. So we're on calls every 2 or 3 days. Like I'm physically here in Singapore or a part of Asia. Brian and team are in town, but if we're doing principal photography, I'd like to be there. I'd like to be in LA or whichever city that we are shooting for a few weeks.
But do you have any tricks or tips on how to manage your time? Because obviously you have a lot going on. I see you. You're always on your phone. You're on a call. We're hanging out. And you're like,
1 minute,
and then you're gone. You come back like, that's
part of me. Oh, my phone's right.
maybe a part of it is just being like, hey, I'm doing so much. I've got to squish all this in. And sometimes when I'm hanging out with friends, I got to say, sorry, guys, got to go do this. Is that a part of it? Or
So I like to say balancing between the day job versus the night job. The night job only occupies only a particular set of time, from pre-production to principal photography, or during that slide period, or even just raising funds. That takes up most of the time. But if we're in post-production, for about anywhere between six months to a year and a half is time that I can spend doing my focus back on my day job. And
so apparently you feel comfortable being able to balance both your day, nighttime job, Microsoft, as well as Hollywood film producer.
Oh yeah.
What if by some chance there's like a little Ben running around, or little Benina, and now you've got a kid, and you're working for Microsoft, and you're producing Hollywood films. Like, now you're stretching yourself pretty thin.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? I think something's got to go. Sure. Either you're done with Microsoft, or you're not going to produce Hollywood films, or the kid's up for adoption. So what are your... what's happening?
That reminds me of like one of the university college questions. You can either have sleep, you can you can get plenty of rest, you can be healthy, and there's that on that Maslow's pyramid at the bottom, you can study well. But neither in between, you're going to have to sacrifice something. Mm-hmm. So with my night job film production company, it's one of these, it's a blessing to be where Microsoft has approved this, because I had to disclose my night job project. And in fact, it's actually pretty fun in terms of both my colleagues, my partners, as well as some clients are like, man, your night job, you're a film producer. How do you do this? How do you balance this? And I go, yes, we're only physically releasing a film maybe once a year, once every other year. What am I going to do during the rest of the time? This is where that balance comes in.
So basically saying none of it takes up so much time to where you couldn't have a family if you wanted to. Not that you want to. I haven't. Do you want a family? Is that something you want? I don't know why we're going down this path right now. We're getting emotional.
Do you want my nieces and nephew? Adorable.
Yeah, it's good enough.
So yes.
Where do you see the future of film going in this new digitized area, where obviously there's more power being put into the hands of the individual creator, with especially the digitized space, the NFT space? Do you see this changing the way films are produced in any way?
Oh, that's a profound question. It's easier to produce because it's more accessible, like the accessibility. But now it goes into accessibility. Now, how do you produce quality content? Quality content that you can turn and take elements of that and say, this is noteworthy, or this is very unique. Something that you can turn into a NFT video. For example, NBA doing all their various snippets. They're converting each of these into NFTs, which I find kind of fascinating. So it's kind of like, okay, here's a rookie, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, or even a LeBron James early days during season 1. So think of that as a virtual basketball card. So going back to the basketball, baseball card analogy.
So what does that look like in the film space?
I don't think actors and actresses have really, and given that NFTs are still relatively brand new, new in that space where they haven't really put their content.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the film industry, it hasn't started yet at all, really.
And that's an opportunity.
So what do you think that looks like? Do you have any idea?
I have.
Am I putting you on the spot right now, Ben? Ben,
yes.
What does the film industry look like in the NFT space?
I'm not the right person to say so, but I have my personal ideas and also even plans in terms of leveraging NFT.
You're doing that thing where you have an amazing idea, which is why you don't want to say anything, isn't it?
Working towards these, working where film, TV, creative content.
I got you. So you're up to something.
And you're going to be involved.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So basically, you're saying you're up to something.
It's remember when we were talking about how we have 10, 15 ideas up in our proverbial whiteboard? This is also one of those, but one of the key things is execution.
I guess
so ideas are a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
But now it's execution.
I think I think you're thinking a very specific kind of way right now as far as like, how do I attack this new medium? Obviously incredibly important. But I guess for me, like as far as like some of the content I think that could be created, like you're looking at behind the scenes type content that could be NFT, like, you know, this is like unique stuff that occurred or a scene that's been cut out of a film. Only 5 people get to buy this scene that was cut out, therefore you could sell it for millions of dollars or whatever as an NFT. A lot of that stuff, I guess, would be one way to do it.
And keep in mind, you can access a lot of these contents even right now. Your various platforms, YouTube, along with various different types of social media sites that would have behind the scenes content. But now, how do you make it legit?
You're
NFT,
up to something.
How do you have your I want to see JB's acting reel, your rookie acting reel.
No, we don't want to see that.
And this is going to be like your 10-minute snippet.
I took that down from YouTube for a reason. What is some advice that you would give to any people that are trying to be as entrepreneurial as, say, yourself?
You want to pick up the top 3 positive aspects of successful individuals, the coattails, mimic them, not pick up their bad habits, but learn, and also see how you can even improve on that.
Learn from the right people. Don't surround yourself around idiots. Hey, man, really good hanging out with you again. Cheers. Thank you so much. The famous or infamous Ben Chan.
Leading towards infamous, trying to get more back into the other side.
You'll get there. Everybody, thanks again for joining us for another TrustVibes Artist Series. This has been Hollywood producer, Microsoft. I can't remember the title of your
Senior
position.
Client Engagement Lead.
Hollywood producer / senior client engagement lead for the universe at Microsoft. Ben Chan, everybody. We're just going to give a clap from the audience.
Oh, what?
From the studio audience, Adam.
No.